Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Dream a Fantastic Dream podcast. This is episode 100, and tonight we are celebrating the occasion by revisiting Attraction Rewind. Only this time, we are ranking all of the attractions we created this year into one giant bracket challenge. We're your hosts, Skylar Gifford, Armida Flores, Jared Cover, and Troy.
Yay!
Yay!
100 episode.
This is crazy.
I know. So I wanted to open this episode a bit different today. This truly is kind of like the bookend of an era, with each episode as another chapter in an enormous book. Although we have had a lot of different people and co-hosts on the show the past 16 months, it has always remained the same at heart. It's a space for Disney lovers and pop culture fans to come together and have a space to celebrate their love of the parks and the craft in general. The communities we have created will always be super special to all of us. We will continue to create content and spread the love as long as we are around. I wanted to say thank you to all of you guys, the 10,000 of you guys who have listened to us since the beginning and has engaged with us all along the way. And it's truly been remarkable. And as long as we're growing, we have grown into 25 different countries, which is insane to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's something I never dreamed of happening or even thought would. And I have no words, honestly. We are forever thankful and humbled for this experience that you guys have all given us. And thank you guys for coming on and becoming a co-host and really just celebrating it along the way. It really means a lot to me. Like, this is our space and I love it. So thank you.
Thank you for having me on here.
I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not only is it our 100th episode, but this also marks 100 hours of content on this platform amongst all of the episodes combined, which is wow. That's so much.
Yeah.
That's so much time for us to annoy you guys.
And boy, have we annoyed you with every second we've gotten.
Oh, what an understatement. The understatement here.
So I do have a few questions for you guys. The first, what was it like from being a listener to being a full-time co-host on the show?
Oh.
What was the transition like for you guys?
I really want to hear from Jared because I think he was probably the more faithful listener beforehand.
Because I'm the newest. Okay. Honestly, it's kind of insane to think that like these people that I looked up to for so long have very quickly become some of my closest friends, even though we haven't ever met. Just how like in person, just how close we've gotten, and it's crazy to me because never in a million years would I have thought, oh, I'm going to be on the Dream of Fantastic Dream podcast. And then that one faithful day that I was feeling exuberant and Sky was like, yes, come be on it. And then it's wild, but it's
honestly thank God that you did, because I love you being a part of this.
So your arrival was so well timed. Honestly, we really needed like something to kind of lift us up, and we were like, Jared. I remember like Sky and I were like, what are we gonna do? Let's bring Jared back.
It was unanimous. Like, we were like, if we're gonna add another co-host, we looked at each other and we're like, we need to keep Jared on. Yeah.
There was not even an argument. Not even. Yeah.
I texted her during the first episode that you were on, and I was like, yeah, Jared's staying.
He was like, I like this dude. I was like, me too.
It's like, he's not escaping.
This dude gets me. This dude has seen the same things that I've seen.
I enjoy all the spirit jerseys you wear on every episode.
He's wearing another one. He's wearing another one. I almost wore one so I could match your energy.
That'd be funny. Troy, I'm gonna send it to you. What was it like becoming an actual full-time podcaster?
Well, I wouldn't consider myself a full-time listener, but when I first met you talked about your podcast. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out. And I started listening and I started really liking the podcast. And when you asked me to be a part or in an episode, I was like kind of shocked because I was like, me? Like, that's wild. I would have never guessed that I would ever be put on a podcast and to be a part of it has been crazy. I've had so much fun. These people are amazing.
Oh, thank you
they
so
all bring
much.
something different to the podcast as well. And it's been a blast. I've had so much fun, and it's like just crazy to think that like I've been lucky enough to stay on for as long as I have.
You're not going anywhere.
You're
No,
a
no,
little
no, no.
ray of sunshine.
I literally said like Troy is not only the sunshine, but I also think like the heart of the show as well.
Yeah.
I think and I think it's so appropriate that the way that this episode is themed, this idea came from you. So
Yeah.
I think that that's so fitting.
Yeah.
Right?
Honored that like this idea that I don't know. I don't want to. Ooh, this.
No, it's become I'll get in the feels for you.
Yeah,
It's become a staple for at least when Sky and I are like having conversations about like, okay, what do you want to do next? What should be on the, and I love that open-ended idea of like, what are we going to do for the next episode?
Mhm.
But sometimes we just hit a wall and we're like, all right, what you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? We have this like great idea, but like maybe Jared's going to be out, or maybe Troy's going to be out, or maybe I'm going to be out. And something that we both always just come back to as an idea that we can always bring back as Attraction Rewind. It's something that's just like so easy for us to just pull out of our pocket whenever we want. And it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I love doing it all the time.
Oh, it's always fun.
I think it's like, I love it because it's all creative.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us are like creative people. So it's like interesting to see like all of our different thoughts and ideas like come together for one specific thing. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah.
But I'm just very thankful that I'm a part of this.
I'm glad. I wouldn't want it any other way, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
So honestly, I feel like this is kind of a double-edged sword, but what was your favorite episodes that you guys
Hey,
been a part of?
I didn't answer the question.
Oh, Armida, please.
Wow, he forgot about me. He's gonna regret that in about 5 seconds when I get deep. Okay, so
Not wait.
I think, well, I've been around in your life the longest, I think. And I remember when you started this podcast. And I remember listening to that first episode just to kind of like for funsies, right? And you asked me to be on it like a year ago. And I was like, yeah. And then it never happened. And we didn't start seriously consider like actually actively putting me on the show until after our first date. And when we started to get that into motion, I actually was in my car on the way to work. And I listened to like just the one that was the newest one that come out. I think it was like Johnny's Trip Report, right around like Halloween-ish time, September 1st, right? Is when we started dating. So like around then. And I remember like listening and just being so proud of you. Like, I was so happy just to like be a part of your life, let alone be on it. And I found myself like having a dialogue with the podcast while I was in my car, like listening to it. And I thought like, this is going to be so fun just to have an episode to hang out. And when you asked me to be a co, it kind of was like almost like too good to be true at first. Like, I just thought like, seriously, like, is this where it's going? And I think that this has become, I mean, at least in the earlier stages of our relationship, it was a place for us to kind of just like be silly and just like have fun and flirt with each other and explore each other's creative sides a little bit more. And there's a certain side of both of us that comes alive when we start recording. And so I love that was just so much fun. And I actually wanted to see if I could get him in his feels. So I actually made a compilation video of
it was really good.
Yeah, it was like, thanks for coming on. I've always wanted to have you on the show. I'm in a new relationship and it's going so well and I'm so happy. And then when he's like, we might be dating, but that's not always fun. And then me calling him babe for the first time on camera. and then like saying I love you on camera for the first time, and
leaps
like
and bounds, man.
slowly introducing our relationship to the world. And let me tell you, that has not been easy, but you know, worth it, honestly. And this has become like something that I feel has connected us, and has, like, even if we're in like not so great slumps because we're long distance and it's hard, we always have the show to come back to keep us connected to each other, because we share this like determination and creative mind together. You were telling me even earlier today, like, that you were doing all this by yourself, and you weren't
before,
like, before I came on the show, you were doing a lot of this by yourself. Meanwhile, yesterday when we were getting all this together, you had me in your corner, you were at work, and you didn't have time to put the bracket together, and I was like, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it.
It's really nice to have that. So
yeah,
thank God.
It definitely, I think the show is like one of the biggest factors that keeps us going so strong. So that's the difference, that I went from literally being like, wow, I'm so proud of him, to like, I'm proud of us.
Yeah. No,
and I'm so grateful for the work that we've put into this. So now I'm sappy. Now I bet you're really upset that you forgot me, huh?
I mean, we also have like something I never thought we would do was have our own merch store, which I think is really cool.
Oh yeah, that's
and just
really
to like
cool.
create like designs for fun. Like, look at that. That's awesome.
I'm currently wearing the Matterhorn sweater that he designed. I was going to wear something completely different, and I was I'm going to wear
the Wilderness Explorer one.
I was like, no, I'm going to wear our own merch for the 100th. I think that's fitting.
But yeah, I don't know. It was just like something that happened when all of you guys came on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so in love with all the stuff that we've created. Like, it's so
I remember when we started the merch store, you were up till 3 a.m. every single night. Just and I was like, how did you sleep? I was like, how'd you sleep? Because I made 3 t-shirts.
I mean, it's so fun. It kind of gets to like a point where it's like euphoria. Like, you don't want to stop.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool that you guys kind of have like this unintentional documentation of your relationship on here. It's
kind of.
Yeah, we kind of.
I mean, not only that though, it's like all of our friendships, like they've pretty much started here.
Mm-hmm.
They've generated from this show, which I think is really special too.
Also, at the same time, I think our relationship was a lot more intense off camera than it was on. So it's like it's definitely like a story, a narrative for sure, but not necessarily what was going on behind the scenes. Yeah.
So jumping back to it, what was like your favorite episodes that you guys have like been a part of, or that we've created together, or just in general that you guys have like watched? And I wanted to do this for Armida. What was your favorite mess ups, or the favorite times that we've all messed up on the show, or gotten things wrong, or didn't? How
about last episode where Jared started presenting his restaurant, and I did not tell him that I had a whole spiel planned out beforehand to introduce him.
Oh yeah, and you totally skipped over him.
Me over here just ready to start, and Armida's monologuing.
You're like, okay. Ooh. The Justice for Harambe meme that came up.
Oh my God.
That was funny. Also, another one, Jared texting me 13 minutes ago, stop simping.
This is a simp-free zone, okay?
You're both in this podcast.
I know.
Arkansas Banquet Hall.
Arkansas Banquet Hall. That honestly, that was one of my, and I should be traumatized by that episode. I really should. And I usually am for most of it. But then that happens. And it's hard for me to go back and watch some stuff sometimes. But when that moment happened, I went from like crying to laughing. I just could not stop myself. That was so funny.
Yeah. Because
he's just reading it and he just goes, and then Arkansas, and just gave up.
I was like, I'm not doing this. This is too hard for me.
Arkansas
My 5-year-old
banquet.
brain could not comprehend
Ac-
Akershus.
Akershus.
That's what I just said. Akershus.
I am so excited to go to Epcot with you.
I'm not. I'm scared to see how that's going to turn out.
On his 21st birthday. Look, babe, Arkansas Banquet Hall.
I don't even think I'm going to make it halfway around the lake.
You sure you want to? He starts in Canada.
You know what?
Because he's scared. He's scared of the Mexicans.
He's scared of tequila.
No, but I'm going to start with Jared. What was your favorite episode that you've been a part of?
Honestly,
favorite idea.
I think my favorite idea was creating our own lands.
Oh yeah.
I loved just saying, here, be set free to come up with your own ideas. And that's really where I flourish, is because I don't follow templates well. So
right.
Follow this template. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. But as soon as it was here, make whatever you want, it was suddenly so many opportunities. And it flowed. It was like clockwork. And we all did such an amazing job, and it was insane.
And you put in so much research and effort.
There was so much time into it that was just awesome.
Yeah. Yours was probably my favorite. No offense to Hermit and Sky and myself, but your lands were very
I did not flourish till the Coco Hotel, so let's just be real about that.
Yeah.
I was like
drinking the blood of the mermaid.
Sky was eating Disney characters, and I was trying to give justice to, and I was trying to shove Indiana Jones in Sky's face because he doesn't like it. Let's be real for a second. But yeah, Jared's own ideas when he's able to, like the Raya, and I'm gonna just go over it because rest in peace, she's not an episode anymore. But when Jared did Raya, the menu for that, deep research that he did, when every single detail was so precise and well thought out and related back to the land and called out to certain things that he had mentioned before. And my mom watching the episode literally screamed with everything that Jared created. She's like, oh, I wonder if you worked in a restaurant before. And I was like, no. Never. He was a performer at Walt Disney World. But yeah, I mean, and I can say that because I've seen an audience reaction to the things that you created, not only based on what I've loved that you've made, but I've seen a listener freak out over what you made. So definitely you flourished. You really did. And I loved everything you made.
Me too.
Stop making me sappy.
It's the 100th. We're supposed to be doing that.
I feel like this is the time for it.
Yeah.
I went for Sky, and now it's you, Troy. Buckle your seatbelts.
You didn't already? I thought you already went. I'm scared.
I did kind of get you a little.
That was a sample.
But I can do more. I can do more.
We could do that off camera.
And I think it's ending with Troy. So what was your favorite that we've ever done?
I have so many favorites. If we're trying to go sappy, I love the first episode that I was in because it helped. I was able to continue and progress and learn more about you guys and become friends and build a strong relationship. But as far as just my favorite, I love, maybe this might be a little biased, but the first ever attraction Rewind, because it was my idea. I was so excited to do that, and kind of like what Jared was saying, having an idea concept come to life. I really loved being oh, I have this idea, and you guys were just willing to be all right, let's just do it for the next one. And I was like, oh my goodness, really? Y'all don't already have a list on it? But I really, really do like that one.
Yeah. I said my favorite mess ups, but I haven't said my favorite episode. I kind of went out of order. My favorite episode was actually, and I don't think Sky's gonna be surprised, but it's the second attraction rewind that we ever did.
The space rhinos.
Jared's first episode, yeah.
Yeah.
Jared's first episode. That was one of my, and I sent all three of y'all a video from that episode when I went back and watched it to prep for this one. That was one of my favorites just because like it was so exciting meeting Jared for the first time. I had gotten a little bit more used to attraction rewind, so I was pumped. And the ideas that came from that episode were just truly unique. And I think some of my favorites came from that episode, like Autopia and Pixar Pal Around, which remains to this day one of my favorite creations. Carousel and Matterhorn, which I loved. And there's others, but I won't get into that. And like my favorite moments with this one were in that episode as well, of just like, you know, our little winks at each other on camera and all that stuff. So that was, I think, definitely, I think I was in a really not great place at the time of that when we filmed that episode, and that just like catapulted me into a much better mindset. So I think that one stands out to me the most.
It's awesome.
I had a question for Skylar. I feel like he's just been asking us all these questions that I wanted to be able to ask him a question.
Yeah, what's up?
I wanted to know what it's like being on this podcast. I mean, you've been on longer than we have, but how is it?
All of us.
Yeah, how is it being like from this is my idea to like full sending it and just being a part of like 100 episodes?
Honestly, it feels really weird. Like my really good friend has a podcast as well on Spotify and Apple, and I would listen to it, and I fell in love with the show, and I really connected to him as a person. And I was like, wow, that'd be so much fun just to go on and create something and just like hang out with like people that are more like me and like the same things that I'm into. So I put it on my Instagram a really, really long time ago. And I was like, hey, I'm going to start this. If anyone's interested and wants to like start and join with me, let me know. And then that's kind of how it started. It was just like a random idea. And obviously she isn't a part of this anymore, but it was like that experience and like creating it and like, you know, making the artwork for it and producing like the first episode was really, really special to me. And it's like, it kind of feels like a holiday now every time, like, you know, we pass another year or something. It's like, oh, September 10th was the first start date for the first episode release. And we just like passed the 10th episode, except this time it's the 100th episode, the exact same day. And it's crazy to me that we've come so far in such a small amount of time. And like the people that I've met and like worked with and interacted with, like, it's amazing. I never thought I would create something like this, nor grow, especially like that. So it's definitely the best thing and my favorite thing that I've ever done. And I'm super, super grateful for it. Yeah.
Aww.
Nice.
I know.
Wait, did you say your favorite episode and your favorite mess up?
Oh no, I didn't. Mine's also Attraction and Rewind, actually.
Ooh, which one?
Oh, Space Rhinos. Number two. Yeah.
Number two.
I feel like it was just like the best stuff just happened from that. And I loved, I don't remember who was a part of it. It might have been Johnny. Yeah, it was Johnny. It was Madeline. A long time ago, we did like land creations. And I full sended, and I thought two of the ones that I did were just like really, really special, and I would love to see. I did a whole Lion King land.
Oh wow!
And it was like Pride Rock, and you're like eating at Pride Rock. And then the one ride was you were like escaping the wildebeest down in the gorge. And the other one was a boat ride through kind of like Navi River Journey, but it was like you were going through when Simba grows up with Timon and Pumbaa and that whole like jungle scene. So that was really, really cool. And the other one was Tangled, and it was like riding on the back of Maximus. And then the other one was like a water ride, kind of like Splash, but it was the lanterns. So that was really, really fun too.
Yeah.
All right, are you guys ready? Oh my god, I'm simping over here. I'm like trying not to cry.
Oh,
Let's go
honey.
before we get sappy.